Castle in the Sky. I'm with John Lasseter on this one.
This is one of my favorite films by my good friend Hayao Miyazaki.
Unlike the last few videos, where I had a physical copy of both versions to compare, I only have the Disney dub. The main reason for this is because the original dub had a very limited run. While a VHS copy has been rumored, I have yet to find out what even the cover looks like. Here's a little history. The first dub of the movie was done in 1988, 2 years after this first released in Japan. It was made by a small dubbing company known as WAAY, which is spelled W-A-A-A-Y. It might be an acronym, but it didn't really get that far. Most articles I've read mostly just say a small dubbing company. Only one actually had a name. This dub was made for Japanese Airlines, known as JAL for short. And that's how some people refer to this other dub. Afterwards, the dub had a limited run in theaters in both the United States and in Europe. In fact, there are rumors that say the dub aired on television briefly in the United Kingdom. After that, the dub mostly stayed in Japan. The first major release was on a Laserdisc collection containing this dub, as well as the streamlined version of My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service. We may get to that one later. This collection was put on DVD years later and is yet to receive a Blu-ray release. To this day, the only way to find the film is to hopefully have a Japanese Laserdisc player or a DVD player. Which, even if that is the case, these items are hard to find and not really cheap. The only other place it can be found is through digital archives. My copy was found digitally by another YouTuber who has also done videos on this same subject. I need to mention that I only have the sound of the movie. Since the sound effects and music are the same in both versions, at least as far as I can tell, I was able to line it up pretty close. If you notice any dubbing errors, it's most likely on my end. While looking for this dub, I have found several articles comparing the two. From what I've seen, many claim that this original dub is the better one. I'll try my best to be objective, but I have a sweet spot for the Disney version. With that, let's dig in. Let's start with the beginning.
How about something to eat? Oh?
Just take it away.
Suit yourself.
I guess for the Disney version, we're supposed to be on the outside of the ship listening to this conversation. Personally, I like the WAAY dub better here. This is the same in both dubs, but look at this opening shot. This is nuts for traditional animation. I've never been in the Navy or the Air Force, but I feel Mayday makes a lot more sense in this context.
Hold him back. Stay out of the way and you won't get hurt.
Hold them off! Sheeta, stay out of the way and you won't get hurt.
For this one, I think it's a matter of personal preference. Jeff Winkless gives a more cold and uncaring performance, while Mark Hamill goes for a more compassionate-sounding character.
Repel the invaders! It's tear gas! I can't see!
Once again, the Disney dub remains silent.
What are you doing? Hurry up and kick it open!
bonus points for the muffled sound.
Sheeta!
How would he know her name?
It's Sheeta! I found her, Mama!
Where is she?
Oh.
No!
Hey, I found her! She's hiding out here!
Don't let her escape! Quick, get her!
Oh, Mama! Hang on to me! Don't drop me!
I've got your brother! Don't worry! To the next compartment!
Don't let her escape!
Come on,
Quick, get
sweetheart.
her!
Come on, sweetheart. Whoa, Mom! Don't let me go!
Quit your whining, I gotcha! Ah, she's wearing the crystal! Now go get her!
I kind of prefer the lines of the Way dub, but I think the Disney version had the better delivery.
We must get that levitation stone!
I want that crystal!
I guess Levitation Stone was a direct translation.
The levitation stone!
I think Disney did this part better.
Oh no! There goes my crystal! Oh no!
This next scene, the girl from the airship, Sheeta, awakens in the house of a boy her age named Patsu. One of the selling points of this dub is the voice of Patsu.
Good morning, miss. How do you feel? Hey, come on, wait a second.
I personally feel Barbara Goodson would have been better suited to play Nausicaa.
About time you got up. How are you feeling?
I'm pleased to meet you, miss. My name is Patsu, and the pigeons are my pigeons. I always feed them after I play.
Hi there. My name's Patsu. I'm really glad to see you doing all right. You had me worried there. Go ahead, feed him. Don't be shy.
Once again, back to personal preference. But could they have come up with something better than these pigeons are my pigeons?
Boy, am I happy to see that you are human. I was afraid that you might be one of those angels or something.
You can really tell she had a hard time acting that one.
My first name is Sheeta.
Well, thank goodness. You laugh like a regular person. The way you fell from the sky, I thought that maybe you were an angel or something.
Thank you very much for saving me. Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Sheeta.
I must thank you for your kindness. My first name is Sheeta. Sheeta, that's a real nice name. I saw you coming down. It was really quite a surprise.
It's a miracle. A miracle that I'm here, alive. I don't remember anything.
Were you on an airship?
Mm-hmm.
Sheeta, what a beautiful name. Yeah, I had to catch you. You were just floating, and I...
What? Floating?
Yeah.
Well, I remember an airship, but I can't remember anything else.
That's all you remember?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how I survived.
Well, I think I might have an idea about that.
Notice the silence in this dub.
Could I look at your pendant?
May I see your necklace for a second?
This?
It makes more sense in the Way dub why Sheeta would be wondering what Patsu means. But who outside of a jewelry store calls that a pendant?
My grandmother gave it to me. It's been in my family for generations.
Wow, it's beautiful.
This?
Mm-hmm.
It's been in my family for many generations. It's called an heirloom.
It's real pretty.
After an intense chase sequence, Sheeta and Patsu are temporarily safe in an old abandoned mine, and off in the distance, there is something moving in the shadows.
It's a devil. A little devil.
Is that even English? If it is, I have no idea what he's supposed to say here.
Uncle Pom! He's a friend. Uncle Pom! We got lost, Uncle Pom.
What's this? The little devil sounds like Patsu. And if these old eyes don't deceive me, there's a she-devil too.
Are you some sort of goblin come to torment me? I can't see you clearly yet, goblin, but you sound like Patsu. And if these old eyes don't deceive me, there's a she-goblin with you.
I find it interesting that while the ghoul is different, Uncle Pom still refers to them as he and she, whatever the ghoul is.
There are pirates chasing us, Uncle Pom.
Oh.
And the army's right behind them.
That sounds absolutely splendid.
Pirates are chasing us, Uncle Pom.
Oh,
And the army is after us, too.
sounds like fun.
I guess not a lot happens in this little town.
Come on, drink your tea.
Thank you.
The tea is ready. Help yourself.
Thank you, this is great. Don't you get lonely down here underground, Uncle Pom?
Never, my dear. All of these rocks are my friends. They often talk to me. Ever since last night, they've been especially restless.
Uncle Pom, have you lived underground all your life?
Surely you jest. The rocks started to get restless last night, and I like coming down on such interesting occasions.
The rocks were restless?
For both versions, it's obvious Uncle Pom isn't all there. The idea of talking to the rocks is one thing, but the idea of going down to a party of them is completely different.
The rocks talk to you?
Oh, yes, Patsu. The earth speaks to all of us. And if we listen, we can understand. The rocks speak in a very small voice.
The rocks speak in a very small voice.
Amazing.
Patsu, look above us.
Huh? Wow.
Wowee.
Patsu, up there, look!
Huh? Wow.
It was just a hunk of rock a while ago.
Oh my. It was just a hunk of rock a while ago.
So pretty.
The answer lies inside these rocks. Let me show you.
Let me show you something.
It went out.
The rocks around here all contain a bit of levitation stone.
Really?
I like how the way dub takes into account that the light went out.
Patsu, you see?
All the rocks around here contain a bit of Ethereum.
Really?
Mankind once knew how to mine Ethereum, but no longer.
As you can see, the moment it touches air, it turns into an ordinary stone.
That's quite a different interpretation. With the way dub, it's more about a chemical reaction that makes the rock stop glowing, while in the Disney dub, it's more about not knowing the process of mining this rock.
Wait. Look, my stone's glowing.
It's shining.
Well, goodness bless my soul. That's a pure Ethereum crystal. There hasn't been one since before my great-grandfather's time. No wonder the rocks were restless.
I love that gasp.
Goodness gracious, that's a levitation stone crystal. I've never seen anything like it before. No wonder the rocks were restless.
My stone possesses unusual powers.
I heard that only the people of the floating island of Laputa were able to make such crystals.
This stone possesses incredible power.
Legend has it that only the people of the floating city of Laputa knew how to make such crystals.
They made this crystal?
They used Ethereum to make Laputa float in the sky.
Laputa, you said?
And that's how they made a huge island float in the sky.
Laputa really did exist! Sheeta! It's not a legend!
Uncle Pom, does that island still exist?
Once again, the Disney version kind of goes mute here.
I knew Laputa wasn't just made up. You see, Sheeta? It's just like my dad said.
What's wrong?
I'm sorry, but would you put that away? It's too strong for me.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but would you put that crystal away? It's too strong for me.
Oh, sorry.
My grandfather used to tell me that the rocks became restless when Laputa appears over the mine.
Great-grandpa used to tell me that the rocks become restless when Laputa appears over the mine.
I guess his relative was a lot older in the Disney dub.
Wow. So that must mean Laputa's over the mine right now.
I see. So if you climb up in the sky, then you can find Laputa. Sheeta proves my dad wasn't a liar.
That needed a rewrite.
Yes, I must talk to you.
Listen, Sheeta, now I can prove that the legend is true.
Sheeta, I must tell you something.
Yes? What is it?
That stone is very powerful. I know that because I have lived with rocks all of my life. I also know that powerful rocks can bring happiness to people and also sorrow. It happens, you know.
Yes.
That crystal is extremely powerful, but with a power that rightfully belongs to the earth from which it came. To forget that and then to try to use the crystal's power for selfish reasons will bring great unhappiness. You understand?
Yes.
In a roundabout way, both dubs say the same thing, but I think the Disney one gets the message across a little better.
And I'm also worried because that stone was made by man. It's a very serious fact.
Your crystal should remind us that we come from the earth, and to the earth we must return.
After getting captured, Sheeta is brought in for questioning.
Enter, please.
Please step inside.
Odd how both use the word please.
What is it?
It is a robot soldier capable of tremendous destruction.
An artificial life form. It's called a robot.
The description in the Way dub is far more ominous.
If this hadn't dropped from the sky, no one would have believed in Laputa.
Run! Laputa was just a legend until this dropped from the sky.
All we know is that it wasn't built on Earth. Indeed, with our limited scientific knowledge, we can't even tell if it's made of metal or clay.
Now, the government wants me to unlock Laputa's secrets. For example, what's this fellow made of? Metal or ceramics? With our limited technology, we have no idea.
Take a look here. There's nothing to be afraid of, Sheeta. Really, it's quite dead, you know.
But he does tell us one thing. Come and see. Oh, don't be afraid, Sheeta. He's really quite dead, you know.
Once again, pretty similar with using the word dead.
There. An emblem identical to this decorated the fireplace in your home. And this is the stone.
It's the same emblem that decorates the fireplace in your home.
And this is the stone.
It works only for you, Sheeta.
You see, Sheeta, this crystal also comes from Laputa.
Feels like Muska in the Way version is far more informed about the stone.
The stone protects the holder. It was given to you so that one day it would be able to lead you back to the floating island of Laputa.
And I believe the powers locked inside it are capable of leading a person back to that city's treasures.
Only speculation. Feels like the other Muska knows this for a fact.
But I don't know anything. Keep the old stone if you like. Just please leave us alone.
Then why? Why don't you just take it? Just take it and keep Laputa's treasures for yourself, but leave Patsu and me alone, please!
Pretty much the same ending line there.
Are you by any chance thinking that Laputa is some kind of treasure island? The fact is, Laputa possessed enough scientific knowledge to be able to float in the sky. It was once a kingdom that governed and threatened the entire world.
You think I'm doing this for money? You understand nothing. According to the legend, the same technology that kept Laputa airborne also made it a major power that once dominated the entire planet.
It's weird how in both dubs, Mushka is shocked that Sheeta believes this is a treasure hunt, but it's stated in very different ways.
If such a horrible thing is still floating up there, you can understand what a threat it is to the peace of the world.
If such a horrible thing is still floating up there, you can understand what a threat it is to the peace of the world. Sheeta, This stone only works for you.
Now Mushka knows.
You must know of some way to make the stone point out the location of Laputa.
Sheeta, I'm asking for your help. You must know a spell or something that will make the stone point out the location of Laputa.
I really don't know anything. Please let me see Patsu.
I really don't know anything. Please let me see Patsu.
Exactly the same.
I really do not want to see any harm done to you, but I must advise you that that boy's fate rests in your hands.
It could be me, but it seems like Jeff Winkless goes for a robotic interpretation. Doesn't it seem like he's about to say, does not compute?
I don't want to see any harm come to anyone, but I simply can't control what the military might do to him.
What?
In the event that you cooperate, I'm sure who's ever in charge will grant Patsu his freedom.
Hamill goes for a more compassionate but impatient performance.
If you choose to cooperate, I promise you that we will release the boy. He will go free.
Isn't that the same thing? Patsu has been set free on one condition, that he leaves to search the Laputa to the army. As a way to seal the deal, the army has paid him several gold coins. A shame that he couldn't protect Sheeta. He goes home and tries to forget the whole ordeal.
What is this? Quite squirming. Making ourselves at home, Sonny?
Seems like there's less of a struggle here.
Welcome home, Sonny. Get out. Get out or I'll throw you out. This is my house.
Get out! This is my house!
Both are enraged that their house has been invaded, but I feel James Vanderbeek sounds more angry and less give it back.
That is quite enough out of you. You can't even protect one girl.
You don't scare me. You can't even protect one small girl.
What do you mean? Hey, Mom, can I keep this money?
Up and sold a little girl, did you? I know your type.
Sold a little girl, did you? I know your ilk.
No, I'd never do such a thing.
You were given the money and told to stay out of it, weren't you?
You don't know what you're talking about. They offered you money and you took it, didn't you? I only left because Sheeta told me to. That's why.
The reason I left, Sheeta told me to. That's why.
While the lines are more clumsy, I feel Barbara Goodson had the better delivery.
So that's it. So you come sulking, right? What kind of man are you, anyway?
So you believed her and you came back here, right? You're just a scared little boy who runs away. Says you. You don't even have the guts to stand at the Musk in the army. He who turns and runs away can steal the treasure another day.
Look who's talking. You and your stupid sons are after Sheeta, too.
Of course. What's wrong with a pirate going after treasure, huh? I wonder why they engineered the little girl's kidnapping in the first place. Do you think that they'll keep her alive?
Don't you think it's kind of strange that the army has gotten into the kidnapping business? Do you really think they'll keep her alive? Don't you see that they forced her to make a deal?
Huh?
Sheeta said so, you say? You dimwit, don't you realize she was forced to say that to save your life?
Real clever of you, Ma.
I haven't been a woman for all these years without learning something.
She saved your life. Garrett?
Mother, you amaze me. How do you know these things?
Oh, well, you can't be a sensitive woman like me without learning a few things. Sheeta and I are exactly alike, all warm and mushy and sensitive.
How touching, pretending to be indifferent to save the one she loves.
It could be me, but it feels like Rachel Van Owen is just personally attacking Patsu here rather than giving him some good advice.
It's just like in the movies. And when you lads get ready to wed, find someone like her.
We ain't gonna stay with Mommy?
No, so when you boys get married, you go find a gal like her.
Huh? She's gonna end up like Mama?
It's funny how a little line change can change a character so much.
It's no use they're changing the code. They're calling for that darn fighter plane.
Well, it won't work changing the code on me. They're calling for Air Destroyer Goliath.
I like how the Disney dub actually gives a name to that darn fighter plane.
They're planning to set out with the girl. We've got to hurry or it'll be too late, boys. Come on, now get moving!
They're planning to take off with Sheeta. We gotta hurry or it'll be too late. Come on, boys! Stop beating!
You're gonna kidnap Sheeta?
It's the levitation stone we're after, kid.
You've got to have Sheeta to make the levitation stone work, otherwise it's useless.
Wait, are you gonna rescue Sheeta?
No, you little squirt. We want her crystal.
Wait a minute, you've got to have Sheeta to make the Ethereum crystal work. Otherwise, it's useless. Dola, please let me come with you. I need to save her. Sheeta means everything to me.
Dola, please let me come along with you. Sheeta means everything to me.
You gotta quit acting like a little baby, Patsu.
That little pause just hurts.
You're right, Dola. I could have protected her if I wasn't so stupid and helpless. Let me come and I'll make amends, please, Dola.
You know something? You're acting like a sniveling little crybaby.
Maybe you're right. I should have protected Sheeta, but instead I was stupid and angry. But let me come with you and I swear I'll protect her this time.
Patsu loves Sheeta.
Be quiet.
Such a tearjerker.
Shut up.
I love how both have that snippy little comment in there. But I feel Rachel Van Owen is far more aggressive in shutting it down.
Yes, you'll be useful in getting that little girl to cooperate.
Guess you'd be useful in getting Sheeta to cooperate. You might never come back here again, Patsu.
I know.
Ready for what might happen?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that you're risking your life?
I'm ready.
Ready to meet your end?
My goodness, Dola makes the journey sound far more perilous here.
All right, I'll let you come.
We leave here in 1 minute.
Later on, Patsu and Sheeta hitch a ride on an airship to get to Laputa. In order to stay on the ship, they're working for free, Sheeta being in charge of cooking and cleaning, while Patsu is for mechanics and upkeep of the ship. Late at night, Patsu is on watch duty, when Sheeta wakes up, wondering what's going on.
I'll take over.
Thank heavens.
Bye, Patsu. You could see forever.
That was exciting.
Wow, you can see forever.
I think the Disney version did this better.
Here. We'll sit back to back. You keep watch behind.
Okay.
And then if you look at the footage, you'll notice that they are sitting back to back.
Okay?
It's better.
This is great. Now we can keep watch together.
Oh, you're so warm. Patsu? I'm really scared. To tell you the truth, I don't want to go to Laputa. I wish we'd never catch up with Goliath.
Are you saying...
No, what I said about the light's direction is true, but...
You mean... the robot?
Patsu? I'm really scared. To tell you the truth, I don't want to go to Laputa.
But what do you mean? Didn't you tell Dola the truth?
I didn't lie to Dola. What I said about the light's direction is true.
Similar idea, but somehow done different.
But what if someone else dies?
You mean like the robot?
He died to save my life. I feel awful.
yes, I feel sorry for it. It's awful to think that everything happened because of a spell my grandmother taught me. She taught me all sorts of other spells. A spell to use when you're looking for something. A spell to cure sickness. And there's one she told me I must never use.
All this is because of a spell my grandmother taught me. She taught me all sorts of spells. A spell to use when you're looking for something. A spell to cure sickness. There's even one she told me I must never use.
What kind of spell?
The spell of destruction. She said that to give power to good spells, I had to know evil ones too. But she told me never to use them.
A spell you must never use?
The spell of destruction. She said that to give power to good spells, I had to know evil ones too. But she told me never to use it. I was so scared when I learned the spell, I couldn't sleep. I should never have taken that stone out.
I was so scared when I learned that spell, I couldn't sleep. I didn't know the spells were connected to my necklace. Uncle Pom was right when he said that it was dangerous for us to misuse the power of the crystal.
That's why it was always kept in the hole in the hearth, and the only time that Mother wore it was at her wedding. It was the same with my grandmother and my great-grandmother. It's always been the tradition. I wish I'd thrown the stone away.
Wait. Hold the phone.
You mean this phone?
Ugh, not that one. You mean to tell me that there is more to this story in this dub? Why did they cut this?
And what if Laputa has the same power that can also be used for great evil? I wish I'd thrown the crystal away.
But then we never would have met. And anyway, even if you had, Laputa would still exist. Airplanes and flying machines are getting better and better.
Even if you had, Laputa would still exist. Nothing important would be changed. Airplanes are getting better and better. Eventually, some explorer or other would come across the island of Laputa, I guarantee it.
You know, eventually some explorer or another will come across the city of Laputa one day and claim it. I can't say I know what's best, but if Laputa really has such great power, we can't let it fall into the hands of bad people like Muska.
I still don't know what to do, but if Laputa really is an island of horror, we mustn't let it fall into the hands of people like Muska.
And if we run away now, Muska is going to chase us forever.
But Patsu, I don't want you to become a pirate because of me.
I'm not going to become a pirate. And don't worry, Dola will understand. She's much nicer than she pretends to be.
And if we run away now, Sheeta will be chased forever.
But Patsu, I don't want you to become a pirate because of me.
I don't intend to be a pirate. Dola will understand. She's much nicer than she pretends to be.
And when we finally found it, I promise you we'll go back to Gondua. I want to see it all, Sheeta. The old house where you were born, the valley, and everything.
I want to see it all, Sheeta. The old house where you were born, the valley, and the yak.
Just one yak?
Oh, Patsu.
Oh, Patsu.
This scene, and immediately afterwards, are probably my favorite parts of the whole movie. A strange cloud/storm appears, which fits the description from Patsu's father. For this scene, I will just show both versions, then discuss.
Phenomenon in the sky!
I have it in view, sir. A dragon's nest. Same as my dad saw. The wind's blowing in the opposite direction.
There's a peripheral wind barrier in front!
It's no use, Ma. We'll be sucked in.
Don't give up so fast, my boy. I hate easy quitters!
Bridge, Laputa's in the nest!
Laputa Square?
My dad said the island of Laputa was inside the dragon's nest.
Impossible. Nothing can exist inside. It'd be smashed to pieces.
Look there, to starboard.
Wow! Now when we're so busy.
The only thing to do is go into the dragon's nest. Dad did, and he came back, Captain.
Dragon's nest, here comes the captain.
Patsu, it's a hurricane!
I see it, Captain! We're going in! Wow! It's just like Dad said. Two winds blowing in opposite directions.
Timber me timbers! What a powerful storm!
Mom, it's no use. We'll be sucked in.
If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a quitter!
Captain, Laputa's in there!
Laputa's where?
This is just the kind of storm my father saw, and Laputa's in the middle of it.
It can't be! It'll be smashed to pieces!
Patsu, look there!
Huh?
Alright, boys, we have a dilemma. It's Goliath off the port bow.
We're gonna go into the hurricane. My dad made it through alive, and so will we.
Ready? Brace yourselves, gentlemen.
First difference would be how the wind reacts. According to the Way version, the wind is just blowing in the opposite direction. While in my opinion, the Disney dub fits the imagery better by having the wind going in both directions, and then the cloud being destroyed by just the sheer amount of force going in there. I also find it interesting that the cloud is known as a dragon's nest. I kinda wonder if this was something lost in translation. I also want to note, if you look up the soundtrack to this movie, one of the pieces is entitled The Dragon's Nest. Before discussing this next scene, I want to go on a little tangent. In the Way dub, the General is voiced by Mike Reynolds. You may recognize him as the groundskeeper from the Castle of Cagliostro.
I see old Carl is helping you guard him.
He is also the voice of Genai in Season 1 of Digimon.
I am speaking to you far away from File Island, across the ocean on the continent of Silver.
In the Disney dub, the General is voiced by Jim Cummings, who has way too many voice credits to go over in this little video. However, you may recognize him as the voice of Razul from Aladdin.
Not a prince at all. Just a no-account street rat.
I find it funny that even in this obscure dub, there is still a connection to fond childhood memories. For this scene, the army is investigating a secret door that Mushka went into.
Not a single crack. This is no ordinary stone.
Use all the TNT we have.
There is no need to do that, General. You can come in.
The explosives have no effect.
This is no ordinary stone.
Then use all of the dynamite we have.
General, there's no need to do that. You may come in.
Both are very similar. However, I like the idea that Mushka echoes in the Disney dub. It sounds more like Mushka is right behind them in the Way version.
Where are you, Mushka?
Where are you, Mushka?
Really, I do not understand why you are hesitating, General. Please come in.
All right, men, to the fray!
Onward!
Attack!
Really, I don't understand why you hesitate, General. Please come in.
Blast! All right, follow me, let's go!
No disrespect to Mike Reynolds, but I think Jim Cummings did this scene better.
To the fray! What is this, Mushka? Where are you?
After him, men. Wait, hold on. Where is this thing? All right, just where are you, Mushka?
I guess Jim Cummings is better at muttering? What I find amazing is the dialogue is pretty much identical in both versions. There are some minor differences, which I will show now.
Please be quiet.
What is this, Mushka?
Hold your tongue, commoner.
You are in the presence of the King of Laputa.
Are you out of your mind?
The man has gone crazy.
I thought I would show you an example of Laputa's power.
In order to celebrate the rebirth of the Laputan Kingdom.
We are about to celebrate the rebirth of the Laputan Kingdom.
Prepare yourself
for the thunder of Laputa. The fire of heaven that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah in the Old Testament.
The Ramaniya refer to it as Indra's arrow.
The entire world will once again kneel
before the awesome power of Laputa.
I can only say, well done, Mushka. You're a credit to our country. As such, you deserve this reward.
I have really had
enough of your incredible stupidity. Now you die!
Goodbye!
I feel Now You Die would have sounded much better coming from Mark Hamill. After, who knows how many people were killed in this scene. Both dubs go for an evil villain laugh. Mark Hamill, though, not only goes on longer, but sounds far more menacing. After a chase sequence happens, that I feel may have been directed by Alfred Hitchcock, I think it's the idea that there's no music, but just the sounds of footsteps and conversation. Some may find this boring or suspenseful, depending on your point of view. During the chase, Sheeta gives Patsu the Ethereal Crystal, or Levitation Stone, and Mushka leads Sheeta into an old room.
Get up. The games are over.
Get up, princess. The game is over.
What is this game they're referring to?
This room is where the throne was. Isn't that appropriate? Now say bye-bye.
How appropriate that we've ended up in the throne room. Now get over here.
Certainly better than bye-bye.
This is no longer a throne room. This is where we get buried, the two of us.
This is no longer a throne room. This is a tomb for the both of us.
It doesn't really make any sense to have a king without a kingdom. I will never surrender the stone. You are going to die right here with me. You might as well face it.
You see, a king without compassion does not deserve a kingdom. You will never possess the crystal. You and I will die here, together.
This song is pretty much the same in both versions. I'll do what I did last time.
I now understand why Laputa fell.
Now I understand why the people of Laputa vanished.
The Song of the Valley of Gondor explains everything. Take root in the ground, live in harmony with the wind, cross the winter with the seeds,
and rejoice with the birds in the coming of spring.
Maybe mankind will pay the price, and possibly those robots suffered for nothing. All men must depend on Mother Earth.
No matter how many weapons you have, no matter how great your technology might be, the world cannot live without love.
Up to this point, I feel Jeff Winkless plays Mushka perfectly. A calm and collected, menacing force. The problem is when you look at the animation, you can see that the character has descended into madness and is willing to kill this girl to get what he wants. Mark Hamill, on the other hand, goes full Joker for this scene, making it far more suspenseful.
Laputa will live. It will always return to life. Laputa's power is the dream of all mankind. Your ears are next. Get on your knees, beg for your life.
Laputa will live. I will return it to life. Laputa's power is the dream of all mankind. Your ears are next. Unless you get on your knees and obey me. I command you, give me that stone.
You're going to get me that stone.
Stop!
I guess they saved all that emotion for Barbara Goodson. My goodness, that is great.
Stop right there, Mushka.
I've hidden the stone. If you shoot Sheeta, you'll never get it back.
I've hidden the stone. If you do anything to harm Sheeta, you'll never get it back.
Don't trust him, Patsu. No matter what he says, he means to kill us anyway.
All right, I want to know where that stone is. Otherwise, I'll murder the girl.
No, Patsu, listen! Run away before he kills you as well as me!
Look who's here. Why don't you give me the stone and the girl will live? Otherwise, I'll kill her.
Or are you planning on fighting me with that cannon you're clutching so fiercely?
Are you planning on fighting me? Go ahead, use that cannon you can hardly lift.
I want a word, but privately with her.
Patsu, no! Throw the stone away and escape now!
You can have the stone if you let me talk to Sheeta.
No, Patsu, get out of here and throw the crystal away!
You will notice that Mushka gives Patsu way more time in this dub than in the Disney dub.
I'll give you 3 minutes starting now.
I'll give you 1 minute starting now.
With this, I've compared most of my favorite scenes of the movie. Here is where I want to show the rest. This is what I would imagine it would look like if you had to fly through the opening of Fantasia. The colors, music, and characters' reaction are very minimal, but this scene is all powerful just the same. Every time I see this scene, I keep thinking Patsu saying, "Pop?" I was hoping in this version he'd actually say it. My two most quoted lines from this movie.
He who turns and runs away can steal the treasure another day!
A superior being such as myself has only one option. Burn them.
Marvelous. Not many shows better than that one. Remember the words. Remember the words that activate the stone. Keep your promise and you too will be free.
Only you can do it. Remember the words that bring the crystal to life. Keep your promise and you too will be free.
From a few sources I've read, Carl Mekek, the director of this dub, thought it could have been better, but it was just okay. That's my feeling with this dub as well. If it was left to bake a little bit longer, I think it would have been on par, if not better, than the Disney version. With some takes, you can tell that the cast needed another try with some of these lines. I would also go for a recast with some of the characters. Some of the Dola gang, as well as Unlce Pom, just sound a little too simple to me. Other than that, I thought it was fun to see this movie all over again, but with a different light. With that, I only recommend this dub for purists. If you're seeing this movie for the first time, go for the Disney dub. The clumsiness of the Way dub may turn off most viewers. With that, I will end my video. I hope I was able to satisfy your curiosity. If there are more scenes you would like to see, feel free to ask. And, until next time, keep having fun.